I have an email here, or actually a series of emails back in August. Let me look up the date to make sure I'm correct here. Yeah, 26 August. We have been pounded, I'm going to say a half a dozen times, by the Beaufort Gazette and the Island Packet with front page stories, very lengthy stories, just throwing stuff out there, you know, creating controversy and all this other stuff. We've not been able to respond. We've tried. We've tried to be answer questions that may come up. I sent a letter to the editor several months ago when we went through this previous cycle with that paper. To the reporter who had been writing the articles, can you forward this to the right place? It's a letter to the editor describing several things. It's about 800 pages long. The answer I got back from Mr. Lauderdale is, thank you for your letter, but we need a 250-word version to use as a letter to the editor. Okay? Now keep in mind, they bash us, long editorials, long front page stories and all that. They give us 250 words. Like, you know, that our part or response to this is not important. Well, I've been saving for a long time articles they print. This article is 820 words. That's 25 more than mine. It was 795 words. Okay. Mine's not good enough because it might actually point out some facts and figures and tell the truth. There's 2 or 3 more here. I pulled this one from last Sunday just to make a point here. And this is in the packet in the Gazette, dealing with the runway extension. It's from a member of the Property Owners Association in a certain plantation on Hilton Head. So, the member of the Property Owners Association, talking about a local issue, can get 820 words. The sitting mayor of a town who is getting pounded with false information, he gets 250. What can you do in 250 words? Very little. All right? Now, shortly thereafter, we again reached out about a week later to try to give some information, facts, figures. Here's the series of emails. It says, I asked that we run a statement, a short study that came out of the St. Louis area that is directly on point with what we're doing. A study that is as closely related to our program as any in the country. Now keep in mind there are over 50 of these programs in existence, okay? The answer I got back from the packet, I don't think we can rerun that op-ed in our paper as it likes a local tie, okay? What that means, I guess, in press terms is it's not irrelevant to anything local, okay? It likes a local tie, even though we get bashed. We're on the front page with the cameras and all this other stuff, but we continue to get bashed, so it likes a local tie. I write back, it really confuses me when you don't think it's a local tie. Look at all the publicity that the Gazette and Packet has provided on this issue, mostly bad. It seems that your paper would want to avoid printing anything positive about this type of program. I am now convinced that the Gazette Packet is anti-public safety. I get an answer back, I can tell you we are not avoiding printing anything positive about this type of program. This particular op-ed, our story deals with cameras, speed cameras being used nearly 900 miles away. 900 miles away. Now, the same day, the very same day, here's an article in the Gazette and Packet that's about the same length as that article from St. Louis. Montana drinking driving laws at crossroads. Now, Montana, I looked at the map, it's 2,500 miles away. 2,500 miles. It's relevant for a quarter-page story, but 900 miles away is not. Now, 3 weeks later, in the same Packet Gazette, here's another article from Montana. I don't know what the fixation is with Montana, but Montana GOP still stands on the anti-gay platform. So, I guess things in Montana are more important than positive things about a local story when we've been kind of the punching bag for quite some time. So, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to take just a few minutes to read you a couple comments out of this story to show you why we thought it was important that the word got out. It says, and to those of you who got a packet before the meeting, this study is in there. To those of you who didn't, you already have it from the previous thing. The study is in there, along with 3 or 4 other ones. It says in St. Louis area municipalities, they have been criticized for deploying automated speed cameras in their jurisdictions. The motive for deploying these cameras was not to generate revenue, but to improve driver behavior and increase public safety. Before speed cameras were installed, drivers' speed averaged 12 miles an hour to over 20 miles an hour over the speed limit, with 12 cars per hour traveling at more than double the speed limit. Now, these cameras were not put in St. Louis. They were in several municipalities surrounding St. Louis. St. Anne is one of them, considers the use of speed cameras to be a victory. Technology has accomplished in 8 months what the city has been trying to do for several years. Charlac, another, municipality surrounding St. Louis. Since the automated enforcement program began on Interstate 70 in Charlac in early July, there's been an 80% decrease in motorists driving speeds exceed the speed limit by 10 to 15 miles an hour. Where there used to be more than 100 vehicles per hour speeding 15 to 20 miles an hour over the speed limit northbound lanes, now there are only a handful. Where there used to be more than 40 motorists per hour traveling 80 miles an hour or greater in a 60-mile-an-hour zone, those violations have disappeared. Law enforcement officers are charged to protect and serve. Those words have long been lost in the debate over technology, using technology to assist traffic enforcement. New technology helps police departments protect and serve. Such systems improve driver behavior, and when speeds are reduced, so are the chances for crashes and the severity of crashes. You need to remember that, because I'm going to give you some numbers in a minute to show you how effective this program is. That's why the focus of automated speed systems is on excessive speeders, those exceeding the posted speed limit by 10 or more miles per hour. Now, people are wondering, why did we pick 81? We picked 81, so we allow 10. We do take action at mile per hour 11 over the speed limit. That is pretty well standard practice in probably 90% of law enforcement agencies in the country. All right? Moreover, in a time when budget cuts are limiting the number of officers on the road, employing automated speed cameras is a measure that maximizes police resources. Now, just a couple more sentences and this study is over. Whatever one might feel about the motives of police departments that use this technology, it absolutely slows traffic down. It works. Automated speed cameras have proven successful as a tool that enables our police officers to keep the public safe. Now, there are 4 or 5 other studies in there, and there's studies backing up years and years ago throughout the world. They all say the same thing. The results, reduced fatalities, slowing people down, less accidents, less serious injuries and accidents, it's all there. Nobody has showed me one single study yet that doesn't go in favor of these programs, not one. Okay, now, as far as the town of Ridgeland, we just completed the 4th month of the program. We have to compare it with the first month because we have no data before that. Okay, we have data with traffic counts and the average count on certain days when they did them was 30, 40, 50,000 vehicles coming through town. So August is our base month. That's our first full month in operation. That's the only thing we've got to go on. We clocked 147,419 vehicles that month. And again, I'll be giving you a copy of all this. The key out of all that is 2.86% of the people were driving over 81. Now, that may not sound like a lot in the percentage number, but when you get into 1.25 to 1.5 million cars a month coming through here, that's a lot of cars. That's about 50,000, okay? Violations, 81 miles an hour plus 4,200 and some change. Violations 86 and over, 792. Now, flip forward to the month of November. With more hours out there, we're doing a number of other things. We clocked just short of 500,000 vehicles. Now, that's nowhere near the number of vehicles that travel the road. This thing is not out there full time. It's out there about 80 hours a week, give or take a few hours. Now, one of the things that makes this program effective, in difference to all the other programs, which are unmanned mounted cameras, our program is mobile and officer manned. Therefore, you don't know where it's going to be. Is it going to be there at 2 o'clock Friday or 1 o'clock Sunday morning? Nobody knows, except the people, our policemen who have set it up. We pick 5 days out of the week that we're running on. We may change that if the traffic flow changes. If accident rates change on those days, we'll change it. The thing that makes it work is you don't know when it's out there. Now, keep in mind, the speed limit is 70 on our 7.3 miles of freeway in each direction. Speed limit is 70. It's posted everywhere. We have signs that the city limits. Photo radar assisted speed enforcement. The van is quite large. You can't really miss it. I think all of y'all have seen it now. There's been publicity to the point where I would, and I've probably said this before, Anybody who doesn't know this thing is out there has got to be in a coma, okay? They still don't slow down. They still continue to speed. Now, not all of them, because we have zapped quite a bit of them, and I'm going to give you the numbers here of the most recent month just to show you the effectiveness. For the month of November, 499,834 vehicles clocked. Percentage of violators, 1.22. That's a decrease of 57.3% in the number of people exceeding 81 or above. Violations per hour. The base month it was 24.03. The most recent month is 12.99. That's a decrease of 45.9%. Violations 86 plus miles per hour, down over 70%. Now, anybody want to take a guess what the highest speed is that typically causes accidents? Something to think about. The faster you go, the more serious an accident is, and usually the more serious the injuries. That's just common knowledge. So it's something to think about. But the results here are just so clear. I don't understand why anybody has an issue with the program. I meant and these are the hard numbers. This is not, I mean, this is right off the calculations on the traffic counts with the machines and everything else. A human don't touch this. Basically, all we do is put them on a piece of paper so we can read them. Now, accident rates. Again, what we did here, we got a little bit different situation because we've got accident rates, and we have to extract hours from the county's totals that are done through the highway patrol and all that, so we do hours manually. The first 7 months of the year through July, which is before the program, the average accidents per month was 7.86. Now again, we're only talking about the freeway. All the accidents we have that are not on the freeway are not involved with these numbers. This is just on our stretch of I-95. The average since then is 5.25. That's a 33% reduction in accidents. Now, I'm going to say a little sidebar on that because I can honestly state and back it up that in the last 2 months we've not had an accident on the freeway that deals with speeding. Not one. We had 4 accidents in October and 6 in November, which is an average of 5, which is puts us right on par with what we've had the whole 4 months. But again, still down 33% with all that in the equation. But I will point out, for example, in November, on the 26th of November, we didn't have an accident. The 1st through the 26th of November, we didn't have an accident, not a single one. We had one on the 27th, which was the Saturday after Thanksgiving. I think it's a northbound lane. For those of you who were out and about that day, the traffic was clogged up, about 20 or 30 miles of it on the I-95 corridor. On Sunday, the 28th, the final day of the Thanksgiving holiday, had 5 accidents in 6 hours. So the 6 accidents in the month of November were all in about 24 hours. On that Sunday, by the way, the camera program was not up and running that day. Maybe it should have been. But no need to be. The I-95 corridor, from what I've been told, was pretty well stopped. From when you got in South Carolina till you pretty well got up South Carolina and Dillon. It was just basically bumper to bumper. All 5 of these crashes were no injuries. They were rear end, bumper to bumper type things. I don't even think any records were caught. They were all just little fender bender type things. So that goes to show you how much control you got over that. When you get here on a holiday, when you've got a state south of us that's got 3 lanes, and when they get to the South Carolina line, they're squeezed to 2 lanes, it just complicates the problem. But basically what it was, the vehicles were probably moving 5 or 10 miles an hour, and that's how all these accidents happen. So, but the end result of, they're counted. They are accidents on the freeway, so they are counted. So even with all those figures, we still have a 33% reduction in accidents from the start of the program until the 4th month. We have a 42% reduction in injuries. Fatalities, Chief makes me do this. The last fatality was the 10th of July. It was about a week later when we started testing the program, and the 1st of August when the program went into effect. Since this program has been implemented, the number is 0. Now, we hope it's going to stay that way. We pray it's going to stay that way, you know, and we'll just have to see.